Hi everyone, it's Rox. Welcome back to Rock City, and today I wanted to talk with you about whether or not to do a traditional European city vacation or to take a European cruise. Now, I have been wanting to go to Europe for some time. I wanted to do something besides the typical Caribbean vacation that I love to take, and that will always be near and dear to my heart. I have been to places far away before. I've been to Dubai, but I really haven't visited a European city. And when I was thinking about this trip, I was like, man, should I just go to a European city and kind of, stay there and visit some of the attractions, or should I do a European cruise? Which I had talked to a few folks who had been on European cruises, and they really had positive reviews of the experience because there are certain pros and cons to the decision, but mostly pros. And so I settled on a combination, which I think is the best of both worlds. And part of the reason I did that was because I had to consider needs other than my own. So really the main goal of this trip is my son is turning 12 years old, and so I thought it would be a great opportunity to bring him on his first trip to Europe. But my son is not particularly interested in museums and churches and history and that kind of thing. He's really more of someone who loves to have fun on vacations, and so he loves cruises. And he loves the chance to just kind of be on the ship and be out and about doing various things without my supervision at times, even because he gets to go to like that little camp thing that they have on the cruise, and he just feels independent and like a little man when he's able to kind of go and do his thing and come back. And so he's always loved cruises, but when we've been on cruises in the past, he's complained a lot about excursions. He doesn't really like to be out and about walking around looking at things that adults are more interested in. And so I kind of had to think about how to do a European trip in a way that would satisfy both of our needs. And so a combo vacation where we flew into our departing city, which in this case is Barcelona. So Barcelona is a great city, right? It's like a major, I think it's probably the biggest cruise hub going out of Europe. And so it has just so much in terms of history and culture and art and food. And so I thought it would be a great introduction to Europe for me. So what I decided to do was take a few days prior to embarking on the cruise to explore Barcelona, and that will give me an opportunity to have a little land vacation where I'm staying in, actually this time I'm kind of stepping outside of my hotel box. I'm staying in an apart hotel, so it's not like an Airbnb or anything like that. It's an apartment hotel that is really more geared towards folks who might want to have a little bit more room and a little bit more independence in terms of meals and things like that. So that's what I chose for my accommodation. So we're going to be able to see the city, do a bunch of things there, and then we're going to be getting on a Carnival cruise. So Carnival actually has a new ship coming out in 2018. It's the Carnival Horizon, and we're going to be on one of the first Mediterranean voyages, not the first one, but one of the first few ones that this ship will be taking prior to coming over across the pond and heading down to Florida. I think that's where it's going to be based out of going forward. But we wanted to be on this brand spanking new ship, and we've really had pleasant experiences with Carnival in the past. We like to have fun, right? That's our number one goal on vacations. We love to be having fun, we love to be smiling, and we found that on Carnival. We do that a lot. And then my son, he also loves cruising, so we'll be able to spend a couple days, completely exploring the ship, looking at some of the new exciting options that they're having. And actually, when I come back from Carnival Horizon, I think I'll do a review, because I know when a ship is new, there's a dearth of available reviews for folks to kind of use to check out what the ship is like. So I think I'll do a review for my viewers when I get back. And then, another thing, we just wanted the chance to see a bunch of different European cities versus like being in one place, which I know, even when you're on a land vacation in Europe, because transportation is so accessible, public transportation and that kind of thing is so developed compared to some cities here in the US, folks can really get around from one city to the next. But nonetheless, I felt like being on a cruise, I'd be able to hit up these cities, go see some of the more popular touristy attractions. And I will admit that I am a total tourist right now. I have not evolved to the place yet where I am a traveler, where I'm heading off the beaten path and that kind of thing. I'm really trying to see a lot of the things that tourists love to see when they go to Europe. So people love to see the Vatican, they love to see the Leaning Tower, they love to go to see some of those parks and museums and churches in Barcelona. So I'll be doing a lot of that, and possibly sharing some of that information if I'm able to capture video of some of that. But I think during the day I'll get a chance to head to some of these places. So for example, I've always wanted to go to the Amalfi Coast, right? But I wouldn't want to go to the Amalfi Coast and sit around for like 7 days. But I think hitting it up for one day, getting to see some of those views that I've always wanted to experience, will be enough for me. While, for my son, he'll be able to come along, but then he'll be able to go back to the ship and enjoy some of the amenities that he prefers while he's on vacation. So what is my answer to the European city vacation, to the traditional vacation where you're like in the city and staying in a hotel, being on land the whole time, versus being on a European cruise? My answer is, if possible, do a combo. Do some days in your destination city, whether it is before your cruise or after your cruise, and take a chance to kind of go around and experience some of the city. You can also add it on to the end of your cruise, so on your way back you can spend some time in that city and do some exploring for a few days. And usually for most folks who have been on are going on a cruise, that is enough, because there's just so much that you'll be doing within a short period of time that you might find that that you won't need any more than a couple of days to explore some of those cities. And of course, if while you're on a cruise vacation, it's a great opportunity to kind of do some scouting for some of these cities. Like, what are some of the places that you would be interested in coming back and spending a longer period of time in? That's a great way to just kind of scope out some things without much commitment, because if you've chosen a land vacation, you've probably, decided to spend all your time there, and once you're there, you really can't change your mind. So the cruise gives you a chance to kind of look at things ahead of time and then possibly come back for a longer vacation if you so desire. So I hope this kind of helps folks kind of think about this decision as to whether or not to do a European cruise or to stay in a city. And please, if you like this content, make sure to share it and comment and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Have a great day.